Colorado's progressive governor and legislature just ended qualified immunity for police officers. What this means, for those that may not be aware. The bill allows a person who has a constitutional right secured by the Bill of Rights of the Colorado Constitution that is infringed upon by a peace officer to bring a civil action for the violation. A plaintiff who prevails in the lawsuit is entitled to reasonable attorney fees, and a defendant in an individual suit is entitled to reasonable attorney fees for defending any frivolous claims. Qualified immunity and a defendant's good faith but erroneous belief in the lawfulness of his or her conduct are not defenses is not a defense to the civil action. The bill requires a political subdivision of the state to indemnify its employees for such a claim, except that, if the peace officer's employer determines the officer did not act upon a good faith and reasonable belief that the action was lawful, then the peace officer is personally liable for 5% of the judgment or $25,000, whichever is less, unless the judgment is uncollectible from the officer, then the officer's employer satisfies the whole judgment. I do think this is a step in the right direction long-term because it will force departments to instill and reinforce better de-escalation training procedures for their officers. Not having quite the safety net will motivate the departments and unions to truly engage and enforce these procedures when on duty. Hey, did you guys know? Soldiers can get court-martialed for shooting the wrong people, or for the wrong reason. Wow, this is actual reform. I'm shocked. Just a reminder, we also have 100% vote by mail. Holy shit. Now we will have actual data and red states can't just claim it'll force police officers to just let criminals be criminals for fear of touching or shooting the actual bad guys. Colorado leads again? I'm liking this state more and more. Legal pot, nicer cops I hope. And on June 30, Colorado has the chance to nominate an equally progressive senator in Andrew Romanoff who also supports ending qualified immunity. https://andrewromanoff.com/a moment of reckoning/. Funny hearing Polis called progressive. Dude is quite socially liberal but is very libertarian/economically conservative in certain regards. When you tell cops the same line they have been saying for years, if you don't break the law you got nothing to be afraid of. R/neoliberal hero Governor Polis. In 2020, I've been hard-pressed to find a governor/state performing better despite all the circumstances. Hopefully we'll be voting for him again next election if he goes for 2 terms. Colorado has really become a beacon of hope this past decade. Progressive. Dude is considered very moderate and literally holds amas on the neoliberal sub. How about we admit that moderates actually get shit done from time to time rather than trying to co-opt everything as progressive? It's awesome shit like this being the reason my wife and I are trying to move to Colorado. Some accountability. Nice. Now on to the next issue with the police, like needing extensive training from credible and accredited institutions. No more philology bullshit. But people keep saying the protesting hasn't accomplished anything. We need these officers to be regulated by a licensing board like healthcare workers. They need to have standards to be held to and lose their license and never ever practice again if they violate those standards. Edit, glad Polis is taking steps in the right direction, but let's do more. Nice. People are dead because cops with not enough training knew they could get away with murder if need be. Good for them. This really needs to be a federal law though. There's no reason why a police officer should have any more rights than a regular citizen. Being a cop doesn't give you the power to be judge, jury, and executioner. This was a stupid law to begin with. If an officer hadn't been sued for a crime yet you couldn't sue them. This is wonderful news. Good job Colorado. Honestly it's about time. The whole Aurora PD debacle, cop drunk on duty, had to be pulled from patrol car by the fire department because he was passed out, on top of the Denver PD during the BLM protests has been eye-opening to say the least. Have civil suit funds come directly out of pension funds and police will be policing themselves pretty quickly and coming up with alternative ways to stop crime without harming innocent individuals. 1 down, 49 to go. Or, just take care of it at the federal level. This is what leadership looks like. I used to live in Colorado. Had to move to Florida for school. Talk about a downgrade, sad. So proud to have voted for him. To be honest, you need to also hold higher up positions to be held just as accountable. In Floyd's case, the officer was known to have multiple complaints that the city was well aware of. You can't just stop at an individual officer. I for the most part support law enforcement, but that gives no right for any person to violate a law just because you're a cop. And they better get a handle on the courts as well, because I see this bill just may tie up the court system too. I think more thought may need to be implemented. I am certainly no progressive, but I strongly support ending qualified immunity for police officers nationwide. The bill passed in Colorado is a good template for what needs to be done in every state at a minimum. Getting the militarized police back under civilian control is a must for our society to survive. All the police who resign because of this are precisely the sort of people who should never have become officers of the law to start with. Colorado now make it illegal for cops to have sex with people in custody. Good job, you guys always impress me over there. Your reminder that Governor Polis is an active poster on r/neoliberal. Maybe, just maybe, more unites us in the left than divides us. I fucking love that he's our governor. Good step forward, Colorado. Hopefully other states follow in similar fashion. Wow, Colorado beats California to a progressive win. That stings. I can't wait to see all the people be like, well, no one will want to be an officer anymore. Sounds like they almost weren't a police officer for the right reasons then. Vote everyone. If we turn the Senate blue, maybe we can do this federally. Hold police accountable. End qualified immunity, everywhere. I am a conservative and a Trump supporter. I think the fact that they capped it at 5% and /or 25K is very reasonable. When Franklin said the states are a laboratory for democracy, this is the sort of thing he was referencing. If it works, I wouldn't mind seeing all states adopting something similar. As a constitutional conservative, I wholeheartedly agree with this and support this being done on a national scale. Hell yeah. I hope other states start to follow, and let's get rid of those unions too. Fuck, I'm so proud of you protesters risking your lives for a real cause and making shit happen. I wish I could be there next to you. The best I can do is give money to the cause. Thank you so much. In the UK we have an independent body that deals with police complaints, and I think that if someone is killed or seriously injured, the police have to refer the case for independent review. I wonder how long it takes for officers to do nothing. How about hire properly trained and good officers? Also information sharing between DEPs, so officers that have been troublesome in other DEPs town, city, and state are disqualified. It's a step in the right direction, but still hurts the community when they get sued because the city is footing the bill. Maybe we need to also have insurance like doctors have malpractice insurance. Come on California, you next. r/uplifting news. Let me just throw this idea out there. Police are given a public trust when they put on the uniform. We shouldn't expect them to suffer the same penalties for committing a crime that the rest of us do. I've always held the belief that police are supposed to set some moral standard. If I rob a bank and get sentenced to 5 years, and a cop commits the exact same crime, he or she should face 10 years. If I get a $100 speeding ticket, the cop should get a $200 ticket. We need to hold them to a higher standard.